Okay. Hi, it's Kerry from Sew-n-Vac. I'm back today to talk about the Q20 again. And last week we talked about it in the koala cabinet. Today we're talking about it on the frame. Same machine, just a little bit different adaptation. So I've got one handle up and one handle down just for you for ease of seeing what I'm going to be doing today. I have the ruler work foot on, and I just wanted to go over a couple things on the screen. So last week we talked about the screen and what it does. It's a little bit different when you're using the frame. So you see these little hash marks here on the frame by these little logo or these little icons. So the single hash mark means it's a knot. So if you look at your left handle, you can see here this would be your knot. This would be foot up and down, which is showing on the screen. Plus you can also use the screen to bring your foot up and down just by touching the screen. So there's a couple ways you can do that. And then on the right handle, we've got it programmed for the go button on the single hash mark, and then needle up and down with the single. Okay? Bernina's stitch regulator 1, 2, and 3 is the same. So we can baste, we can do solid stitching, or stitching will stop when you stop, and manual. So it's the same screen, it's just a little different because you have handles now, so you're moving the machine instead of the fabric. Now, a lot of people are intimidated to buy the frame. They think they have to be a professional, they have to be an excellent free motion quilter, and you don't. You can do this with very little skill. You can do it with rulers, you can do meandering, and let's face it, a lot of our quilts are really busy, and so you don't even see the quilting. So if you look at this right now, I was doing a little ruler work on this little heart quilt. This is an AccuQuilt heart pattern that Andrea and I did together. And we had fun with it. We used scraps and made a pink and orange kind of a fun quilt. And I thought, you know, you're not going to see the quilting very much on here because it is so busy. So I got one of my Amanda Murphy rulers, and I love these rulers. And what I love about them is they have lots of references for marking. So when I put my ruler on the quilt, and you can see over here where I stopped, if you get real close up. But what I did is I would use this. Why don't you go over on this side? There you go. The straight line goes right on the seam line, and then I can just follow around to do my little, it looks like a half of a heart, you know, going around and around. And what's great about doing this on the frame, let me show you what you need to do this. I'm going to move the machine over so you can see. You know, when you have a table to put your ruler on, you have that stability. So what happens on the frame is you just clip this little table onto the machine, and then you've got a surface. So when you go to rest your ruler on your quilt, you have a nice flat surface to use. So it works just like you were sitting down, only you're moving your machine. So what I love about it is when you're ready to use this and you put your foot down, you always put your foot down first so you don't end up crashing it on your ruler. So when you go around your design, you're moving it around. I like to put one handle up so I can see better. So this handle's up, and then I have my right hand on my ruler to do my stitching around the ruler. So it's really, really easy. And as with any Bernina, you can use any free motion foot on this machine. So there's couching, there's a couple different couching feet. There's another ruler work foot as well that has height adjustment that you can use. So if your quilt batting is a little higher, you can adjust that height because we don't have height compensation on this machine. So that's some fun things you can do. Another thing people are intimidated about is putting the quilt on the frame. Not hard at all. So let me show you how I do it. Now, a lot of people who are long arm quilters will attach the top to a bar as well as the batting will be on a bar. I find it's a lot easier to just put the backing on the bar. So I'm going to loosen this just to show you. So all I did was I pinned the back. You're pinning the back to this is called a leader cloth, and you use your reference line so you get it nice and straight. It's really important that you cut your backing straight. You don't want it crooked or you're going to end up with a little wave. So I pin this on, do the same on the top, and then when I get it all ready to go, and you put right side down because that's the back of your quilt, as you can see here by the top, there's my back showing. So you wind it around, make sure you have it straight here. And so it comes up over the top of this bar
What'd you do over
and
there?
around.
You locked it into place?
This is locking your
Okay.
your
So you want it
quilt.
nice and tight.
You don't want it too tight. So what happens is then you lay your batting on and your top, and then what I do is use the basting on the machine and baste across so that your top is adhered, and then you can use these little guys on the edge to keep it tight so it doesn't waffle around.
So you just basted the very top part of this.
Just baste at the top. I can use these on the side. I could also baste down the side. Now let's say you have table runners you want to do. You can put a backing on this frame, lay your table runners down, and baste those around, and then you're ready to go. So it works really good. You don't want it too tight, because if it's too tight, it's going to be like a trampoline, and then your quilt's going to bounce around and make it hard for you to quilt.
Okay, can you do a row of, or a couple of your heart, Amanda Ruler heart?
Yeah, let's bring up my thread from the bobbin.
And so you just use your thumb to get the thread up and down?
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to bring up my thread. And I'm just going to take a couple little stitches here just to get it knotted. Clip those off. If you're doing a show quilt, you'd want to bury those. We're not doing a show quilt today. Now I got to find my ruler. What I love about these rulers, if you don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little kind of a, what would you call that? Yeah, kind of like a frosty film on it. So what happens is when you're laying it down, it really kind of helps you keep it in place. I don't like sprays and all of that kind of thing, so it makes it kind of fun to do that. And so I got to remember where I set this. I haven't quilted on this for a little bit.
So you're just doing kind of these arcing, this arcing.
Mm-hmm. So then when I'm ready to go, and I'm going to put in BSR 2, so it stops when I stop, and then you just go around. And this is not like for speed. Mm-hmm. You want to take your time. And then I use my reference marks where I stop and start. So there's where I stop.
Yep.
Okay. Now, there is a couple sets of these that you can get that we've ordered in the store, and there's more coming, and she has a new book out too. She's kind of my girl crush right now for quilting. I really enjoy her. So these are her, like the different sizes of shapes in the ovals, and then she's got another set that's just kind of a basic set, and there's a new straight edge ruler that she's coming out with too that's great.
So can you tell me a little bit about the different sizes of these frames?
There are 3 sizes. This is the smallest one because we have limited room in the store. So we have the 8-foot here, 9-foot, and then it comes in 11 and 13. So depending on how big of quilts you like to do, you can get different sizes.
So these are some samples of quilts that you've done.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea
Of what can be done.
of what can be done. So I used Amanda's rulers on here, and what I did is did my straight line quilting last on the border. Very easy to do, because little piano keys. Very easy to do with a straight edge ruler. So I did all these little figure 8s in here. So you can combine your free motion with your straight edge quilting. And another thing, if you get a frame, you have to get is the channel locks. And channel locks are these little guys right here. Let me bring up my thread here because I want to show you these. These are channel locks. So what happens is you lock that down, and then my machine will only move left and right. And there's also for north and south or up and down. So this is the one that goes left and right for basting or whatever. But if you just want to do straight line quilting, so those of you that are scared to try this, you can quilt your own quilts with straight line quilting. This is really fun. So you get your quilt on the frame. You just set up your channel lock. You do your straight lines back and forth. And I just did random. I didn't do them perfectly 1 inch apart or half inch apart. Just did them random. And isn't that pretty? So yeah. So if you want to come and try it or see a little bit more about the machine, come to the store. They're on sale through the end of the month. Until next time, see you.